All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on Walt Disney World Resort.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, and it's more than just it's more than just theme parks and Mickey Mouse ears. Based on what you've sent over to us, we're looking at 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, resorts, dining. It's a whole world to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And whether you're actually planning a trip or just curious about this whole phenomenon, we're going to kind of try to break down what makes Disney World tick.
Well, what I find so interesting about this is how ambitious this is.
Yeah.
You know, your source material doesn't just describe the attractions; it really sells Disney World as an experience, as a complete escape.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out what makes it stand apart from,
Yeah.
just going to a Six Flags or just a regular amusement park.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the theme parks themselves. We got Magic Kingdom, which the guide describes as like the classic Disney experience. And I was surprised to learn that you can actually dine inside the Beast's castle at Be Our Guest restaurant. What's the deal with that?
Well, this is a great example of how Disney leverages its intellectual property. It's not just about serving food; it's about putting you in the story.
Yeah.
Of Beauty and the Beast. That level of immersion, I think, is key to the Disney formula.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. Okay, so next up we've got EKCOT. And the guide says it's all about technology and culture. They've got Test Track, where you can actually design a virtual car and then race it. But is that really educational, or is that just a fun gimmick?
It's kind of a bit of both.
Yeah.
There's definitely a element of entertainment, but I think by engaging you in the design process, it makes the technology more accessible, more understandable. It's sort of like sneaking in, learning under the guise of fun.
Oh, that's clever. Okay. Then we've got Hollywood Studios. Star Wars Land obviously stands out there. But the guide also mentions the Tower of Terror, which is a very different kind of thrill.
Right.
So it seems like they're trying to cater to a wide range of tech.
Exactly. And you've got the cutting edge immersive experiences like Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, alongside those more classic thrill rides like Tower of Terror. And I think that diversity of attractions is a big part of what makes Disney World so appealing to such a broad audience.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. And then lastly, there's Animal Kingdom. And the guide says this is more than just a zoo. They've got real animals on the Kilimanjaro safaris, but they also have these kind of imaginative experiences like Avatar Flight of Passage. That seems like a tough balance to strike.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's one of the things that I think makes Animal Kingdom so unique. They're combining real-world animal encounters with these fantastical elements from the Avatar film.
Yeah.
It's almost like blurring the lines between reality and imagination, which is kind of a Disney hallmark, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, totally. And the guide makes it seem like the magic doesn't stop at the theme park gates, though. Like there's this whole world of other experiences, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's important to remember that Disney World is a full-blown resort experience. They've got water parks, they've got resorts, they've got dining, all sorts of things to keep you entertained and immersed in that Disney bubble.
Okay, so let's talk about the water parks first. We've got Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. And Typhoon Lagoon kind of sounds like your typical tropical paradise. But Blizzard Beach, a ski resort-themed water park in Florida. What is going on here?
It's definitely unexpected. But that's part of the Disney magic, isn't it? The element of surprise, it shows that they're not afraid to take risks and create something truly unique. And speaking of unique, the guide mentions the Summit Plummet at Blizzard Beach, which is one of the tallest and fastest freefall slides in the world. Are you a thrill seeker?
Maybe not that much of a thrill seeker, but it's interesting how they've got something for everyone. Speaking of which, let's talk about the resorts. The source makes them sound like more than just places to crash after a long day in the parks.
Yeah, they are. They're really designed to kind of extend that Disney experience beyond the parks themselves. You've got the themed environments, incredible dining options, and unique experiences that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, there are perks, like early park entry and free transportation, which can really enhance your trip.
So it's not just about the pretty decor, it's strategic too.
Yeah.
What about the food? I'm guessing it's more than just hot dogs and popcorn.
Oh, absolutely. The guide really makes a big deal about how dining is such an integral part of the immersive experience. They've got everything from quick service restaurants to fine dining experiences, all with a Disney twist. And they've even got a Star Wars-themed cantina.
Wow, a Star Wars cantina. That's pretty cool. It seems like they've really gone all out to create this complete and immersive world. But with so much to see and do, I imagine planning a trip to Disney World can be a little overwhelming. Does the guide offer any tips for navigating this magical maze?
Well, it can be overwhelming, that's for sure. But luckily, your source has a whole section on tips and tricks. And the biggest takeaway, I think, is that planning ahead is crucial.
So like making reservations for things like that, Be Our Guest restaurant we were talking about.
Exactly. And for popular rides or character meet and greets. Speaking of which, the guide mentions character dining. Do you know what that is?
I've heard the term, but to be honest, I'm not really sure.
Okay, so basically it's meals you can have with Disney characters. They come around to your table pose for photos, sign autographs. It's hugely popular, so reservations are a must.
Okay, that makes sense. The guide also stresses the importance of the My Disney Experience app. What's so special about that?
Well, think of it as your digital guide to Disney World. You can use it to book dining reservations, check wait times for rides, manage your FastPass Plus selections, even unlock your hotel room door. Without it, you'd be drowning in paper maps and schedules.
Sounds like a lifesaver in a place this big and busy. Okay, so planning is key. But even with the best laid plans, there's still so much to choose from. How do you even begin to decide what to do?
Well, that's where it gets personal. Your source doesn't just list things to do, it tries to capture the different kinds of experiences you can have.
So it's not just about checking things off a list, it's about figuring out what kind of Disney experience you're looking for.
Right. Are you a thrill seeker who wants to conquer every roller coaster? Are you a foodie eager to sample all the unique dining options? Are you a history buff fascinated by Disney's legacy? There's something for everyone.
That's true. I'm definitely more drawn to the immersive experiences, the detailed worlds that they create. But I also have a weakness for those classic dark rides like Haunted Mansion.
And don't forget about the seasonal events. Your source mentions that Disney World transforms throughout the year, offering unique experiences depending on when you visit.
Oh, right. They've got things like the Halloween party and the Food and Wine Festival. Do those really change the feel of the parks that much?
Absolutely. They bring in special decorations, themed food, and merchandise, even unique entertainment offerings.
Mm.
So a visit during Halloween will feel very different from a Christmas time visit, for example.
Yeah.
It's a clever way to add replay value.
Makes you want to visit multiple times to see it all. But even with all the rides and shows and special events, wouldn't it get a bit, I don't know, manufactured feeling after a while? Like overly perfect and polished?
That's an interesting question. And honestly, I think a lot of that comes down to the cast members, the people who work at Disney World. Your source doesn't go into a ton of detail, but it highlights the role that they play in creating that magical atmosphere.
Yeah, I've heard stories about cast members going above and beyond to make guests feel special. Is that part of their training or is it just something that happens organically?
I think it's a bit of both. Disney definitely has a strong culture of customer service, but there's also a sense that the cast members genuinely buy into the magic that they're creating. They're not just employees. They're storytellers. They're performers. They're part of the experience.
That makes sense. It's not just about the rides and attractions, it's about the people who bring them to life. It sounds like there's a lot more depth to Disney World than meets the eye.
There is. There is. And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. It's this carefully crafted world,
Mm.
designed to evoke a very specific emotional response. But it's also a place where people can create their own personal experiences, their own memories.
So it's like a giant stage, and you get to choose what role you want to play.
Exactly. And your source is like a program for that stage,
Yeah.
giving you all the information you need to decide how you want to experience the magic.
Okay, but let's be real for a second. The source calls Disney World the most magical place on Earth. Isn't that a bit much? I mean, it's a theme park, not a utopia.
Well, I think it depends on your definition of magical. If you go in expecting literal fairy dust and talking animals, you're going to be disappointed.
Fair enough. But what about those who do buy into the hype? Is it all just clever marketing, or is there something genuine underneath?
I think there's a genuine desire to create a sense of wonder and escape. And for a lot of people, Disney World delivers on that promise.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can leave your worries behind and immerse yourself in a world of fantasy and imagination.
And even if you're not a diehard Disney fan, there's still something to be said for the level of detail and craftsmanship that goes into creating this world.
Absolutely. It's a testament to the power of storytelling,
Yeah.
the enduring appeal of classic characters and narratives and the sheer dedication of the people who work there.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the thrill rides to the fine dining, from the meticulous planning to the role of the cast members, it sounds like there's a lot to consider when it comes to experiencing Disney World.
There is.
Hmm.
But I think that's part of the appeal. It's not a passive experience.
Yeah.
You have to engage with it, make choices, and ultimately create your own version of the magic.
So what does this all mean for our listener? What should they take away from this deep dive?
I think the key takeaway is that Disney World is more than just a collection of rides and attractions. It's a carefully constructed experience, designed to transport you to another world. But the magic you find there is ultimately up to you.
It's funny, just talking about it makes me feel like I've taken a mini vacation.
Right. Yeah.
And we haven't even left the studio.
That's the power of a well-crafted experience, I guess. Even when you're just exploring it through a guide,
Hmm.
they've managed to convey that sense of place, a sense of possibility.
Yeah, and we talked about how the source material really emphasizes the magic of Disney World, but instead of just accepting that at face value, we've kind of dug into what that actually means. It's not just pixie dust, and
Yeah.
it's about that attention to detail, those immersive environments, the way they leverage their intellectual property to create those aha moments for
Yeah.
guests.
Exactly. And it's also about giving visitors the tools to navigate this vast world and personalize their experience,
Yeah.
whether it's through those advanced planning tools like the My Disney Experience app or simply by offering such a diverse range of attractions and activities. They've created a framework for people to kind of create their own magic, so to speak.
So for our listener who provided all this material, if they are considering a Disney World trip, what's the one piece of advice we can offer based on this deep dive?
I think the most important thing is to be intentional about your experience. What are you hoping to get out of a Disney World visit? Are you chasing thrills? Are you seeking nostalgia? Are you looking to immerse yourself in a particular fandom? Once you know what you're looking for, you can use the information in this guide to really tailor your trip accordingly.
So don't just show up and wander around aimlessly. Have a plan, but also be open to those unexpected moments of magic that inevitably pop up.
Precisely.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to lean into the cheesiness of it all. You know, Embrace the characters, sing along to the songs, wear the Mickey ears. It's all part of the fun.
Well said. I think we've successfully demystified the Disney magic, wouldn't you say? We've shown that it's not just smoke and mirrors, it's a combination of clever design, meticulous planning, and a genuine commitment to creating a memorable experience for guests.
Absolutely. And whether you're a seasoned Disney veteran or a curious newcomer, I think there's something to appreciate in the sheer effort and artistry that goes into creating this world of wonder.
I couldn't agree more. Well, dear listener, we hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Walt Disney World Resort. We've covered a lot of ground, but hopefully you've come away with a better understanding of what makes this place tick and what kind of experience you might want to create for yourself. Until next time, may your days be filled with adventure and a touch of that Disney magic.